His dark materials. How I love you. Now, I'm not really the biggest fan of Philip Pullman himself. From all I've read in interviews and judging from some of his more recent work, he seems like the kind of guy who's more interested in just drumming up controversy than telling a good story. But His Dark Materials itself is a fantastic story that I've gone back to several times. It's about a girl named Lyra Balakwa who lives in a world where everyone's souls are separate beings called demons, which take the form of various animals. Lyra is an orphan raised in a university whose only known family is her uncle Lord Asriel, an explorer who's just made a discovery concerning a substance called dust. She doesn't know what it is, but for some reason it really pisses off the magisterium, this world's version of Christianity, which pretty much rules the whole world. And so Lyra comes to the attention of a magisterium official named Mrs. Coulter, yeah, real subtle there, who tries to corrupt her into turning against her uncle. Eventually, Lyra realizes the truth, gets away, and somehow has to do her part to help her uncle and stop whatever Mrs. Coulter is up to, which involves kidnapping a bunch of children, including Lyra's best friend. The only advantage she starts with is an alethiometer, the golden compass of the first book's title, which will give you the answer to any question if you know how to use it properly. And believe it or not, none of that is really the plot of this series. It's all just the setup for a much grander story for which spoilers would be unforgivable. Besides, if I tried to list everything that ends up taking place, I'd need my own goddamn spreadsheet. So, of course, in the wake of their success with the Lord of the Rings films, New Line Cinema tried to make this their next big project. And they blew it. Big time. What went wrong? Well, the major problem through the whole thing is that it seems the guys at New Line were counting on this being a huge franchise so much that they were terrified of attracting any kind of controversy along with it. Which makes you wonder why they decided to adapt a story where Christians are the bad guys in the first place. But before I get into any of that, I just have to say that I hope the people in charge of the film's marketing got paid well for it, because they took this sow's ear and made it look freaking epic.
War is coming, Lyra. You will need all your skill and all your courage. The Magisterium seeks to control every world and every universe. Nothing will stop them from trying to take over. Nothing but you.
So you can see why all of us fans were really excited about this movie, and how much it hurt when we actually saw it. The problems start right at the beginning. The books start out by drawing you into this completely new world, letting you understand all the ways it differs from ours before laying out some tantalizing mysteries to follow. So how does the movie start? By explaining everything. If, despite everything I say, you still want to watch this movie, do yourself a favor and read the books first, because otherwise you'll be incredibly spoiled by this sequence. I still try to find whatever good I can in everything, so I will say that Dakota Blue Richards is great as Lyra. It's a hard role because Pullman went to great pains to give her clear flaws to keep her from being a Mary Sue. She's smart, but at the time the story starts, she thinks she's smarter than she really is, and uses this to lord over the other kids. She's also a huge liar. Richards just takes these issues and works with them, not asking the audience for any undue sympathy, and waiting until Lyra develops into a more likable character to show those qualities. She probably could have built a decent career on this performance, but sadly with the way the rest of the film turned out, this is probably the last we'll hear from her. Thanks a lot, guys. Another problem is that right from the start the story moves way too fast. We're barely given enough time to comprehend one scene before we're whisked away to the next, and it eventually ends up feeling like The Big Lebowski, where every single character is from a different movie. Except here, it's not deliberate. Here's a quick character rundown. Lyra herself, her uncle Lord Asriel, who wants to break into another universe, Mrs. Coulter, who's kidnapping children for unknown reasons, a bunch of river gypsies, a hot air balloonist cowboy, a polar bear who can talk and wears armor, and some faceless evil Russians. In Pullman's writing, these people all come off as part of a fully realized alternate world. Here, they're just barely more comprehensible than David Lynch's Dune if you haven't read the book. Like I said, the people at New Line were terrified of any controversy being attached to the film, and the most obvious change is that the evil organization controlling everything, the Magisterium, goes from Christianity grown out of control to just a generic group of fascists. And Christopher Lee's in there, making it obvious his character will be more important later, so even if Book 2 is filmed, there goes that surprise. Another major problem is evident in just one scene. Like I said, in this world, people's demons are a physical manifestation of their souls. And in one scene, Lyra finds a boy who's been separated from his demon. He's taken to clinging to a dead fish and doesn't survive long after she finds him. It's an extremely emotional moment and one of the early signs of just how far this series is willing to go. So how does the movie handle it?
You're all right, Billy. You're safe now. We'll find your demon. We'll bring her back.
I'll repeat that. I'll repeat that because that's the kind of sentence when you hear it, your brain comes to a screeching halt. And the left-hand side of the brain looks at the right-hand side of the brain and goes, it's dark in here. And we may die.
You're all right, Billy. You're safe now. We'll find your demon. We'll bring her back.
That's right, kids. If you lose your soul, you can just get another one. I literally want to slap whoever thought this was a good idea. See, this is what happens when studio execs get involved with production. You get a movie assembled by committee, carefully edited not to piss anyone off, and any chance at real artistic expression is washed away. This gets especially ridiculous when we get to a scene involving two bears fighting.
Is that all?
Sweet, merciful crap. You really think the kids in the audience couldn't handle any of the stuff you cut out, but they can't handle a bear getting his jaw punched off? I mean, you take one chance with this story and it's something that doesn't factor into the plot at all. You are sad, strange little men and you have my pity. In the interest of true fairness, I should note that from all I've read, the film's director Chris Weitz really was a big fan of the books who wanted to make a faithful adaptation and just got stymied at every turn. Before this film, his biggest work was American Pie, and this could have been his big chance to make a more respectable name for himself. Needless to say, it didn't work, and as for what he's done more recently... yeah. And then there's the ending, because it's not an ending because they thought it would be too much of a downer, so they cut it out, intending to use it as the beginning of film 2. Now, obviously I'm not going to give away what the real ending is, but I will say that there is no way this could work. What happens is big and changes your whole view of what you thought the series was. You need time to digest it, and launching immediately into the next part of the story would just cheapen the whole thing. So given all that, is it any wonder we're not getting adaptations of books 2 and 3? Although personally, I hope this isn't the end. Maybe this film can serve the same purpose as Ralph Bakshi's The Lord of the Rings, serving as a template for what not to do so a later director can do a better job of it. There are certain scenes in books 2 and 3 that would be incredible to see on screen, and I can only hope it happens within my lifetime. That's it for this one. It's going back on the rubbish heap where it belongs.